Okay. All right. So there are two ways to tell if a function, if f of x and g of x are inverses. So one way is to go ahead and see if f of g of x is the same thing as g of f of x. That's one way, which I'll go through in a bit. But probably the easiest way is to start with one of them, right? So inverse, I don't know if you remember it from algebra 2, but inverse is you take x and y and switch them and then solve for y. So what I mean by that is f of x is the same thing as y equals 3x minus 2 right now, right? Okay, so I haven't done anything yet with the inverse. Inverse again, as soon as you see this word, take x and y and switch them. So y becomes a x, this becomes 3y minus 2, and we need to get the y by itself. So we're going to add 2 to both sides, so x plus 2 is equal to 3y. To get the y by itself, we're going to divide both sides by 3. That cancels the y's out. So y is equal to x over 3 plus 2/3. Then I want to look and see if that's the same thing as this. So there's an imaginary 1/3, so 1/3 x, boom, plus 2/3, boom. So that means that these two are inverses of each other. Okay? That's one way to do it. The second way to do it, and I'll do this in a different color so you can see, is to see if this is true, right? So is f of g of x the same thing as g of f of x? So what I mean by that is, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to try this side. So we're going to take g and we're going to plug it into f. So I'm taking g and I'm going to plug it into f. So what I mean by that is 3 times, now my new x is this, right? So 1/3 x plus 2/3, and then I have to subtract 2. And I want to see what that is. So 3 multiplied by 1/3, the 3's cancel out, so I'm left with 1x plus, and over here, same thing, 3 times 2 is 6, divided by 3 is 2, or the 3's cancel out, and I'm left with a 2. So x plus 2 minus 2, what does that give us? That just gives us x. So that's what f of g of x is equal to. So now that's promising, right? Now I have the x by itself. Now I want to do this, g of f of x, which means that now I'm going to go the other way, right? So now I'm going to take, you tell me, I'm going to take f of x and plug it into g. So I'm taking this and plugging it into g, to that new x. So what I'm going to have is 1/3. My new x is going to be this, right? So I'm plugging in 3x minus 2, and I have to add 2/3 to it. And I want to see if that gives me x back. So 1/3 times 3, again the 3's cancel out, so I'm left with 1x. 1/3 times negative 2 is negative 2 over 3, and I'm going to add this 2/3. So negative 2/3, positive 2/3 cancel out, and I'm left with 1x, or just x. So x is equal to x, check. That means that they're inverses. So this is true. This is a true statement.